What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is Leo's Nerd Talk, and today we're going to be talking about Prometheus. So let's get into that. Hi, my name is Leo, and if you guys like talking about movies, TV shows, video game related, or just anything nerdy, you have come to the right place. And like I said, today we are talking about Prometheus. So without further ado, let's get into the review. So we are on Prometheus, perhaps the most controversial movie out of the Alien franchise. You're either going to love it for what it does and the answers that it gives you and the origin story, or you're going to hate it and think it completely ruins the Alien franchise and gives us answers to questions we never ever asked. But before I give you my thoughts about Prometheus, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, share your excitement for Alien Romulus. Also, let me know what you guys think about Prometheus in the comment section down below. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into my pros. And start off my pros, I absolutely think this movie is shot beautifully. It tells a very compelling and interesting story. There's a lot of intrigue to what's actually going on screen. Where, like I said, people think either this absolutely makes the Alien franchise a little bit more kind of more in depth and have a little bit more background and isn't just a straightforward Alien movie, while other people think this kind of completely ruins the Alien franchise. And like I said, it gives you answers to questions you never asked. I'm a little bit in the middle. I'll get in more into my cons in a little bit, but I do think there's a lot of intrigue to the story. I think there's a lot of things that we're exploring that is really profound in how we have these aliens that are ancient beings from light years away that created life other places just by using their own DNA, and now they want to destroy it and all this stuff. So it's such a very interesting story of who these Titans are. You know, for being an origin story, I wish we did get a little bit more of what these things are doing and why they did this, but I do think there's still a lot of intrigue and there's still a lot of things that we're exploring here that is pretty fascinating. And I also think performances across the board are done very, very well. You have your Michael Fassbender, Charlize Theron, things like that, and they all have like this kind of menacing kind of demeanor to them while still being very interesting characters, especially with Michael Fassbender. You know, you get told up front that he is a robot, and you can kind of tell just by his demeanors and stuff. And so you kind of start putting your guard up a little bit with his character, and you know, he does things that make you seem like he's okay, and he does other things that you're like, I don't really like this guy, you know. So it's, again, performances are done across the board are done very, very well. I like the entire crew. I think the crew dynamic is pretty interesting, where they don't really care too much for each other, and you know, they're here just for exploration and trying to, you know, figure out what's going on in this distant planet, and they're really just here for the company, here just to get paid. There's not that much kind of camaraderie between them, and that kind of adds to a little interesting dynamic where people don't really care what's going on to other people. You know, they want to completely leave the planet and just scratch the experiment and scratch the research altogether because they feel like danger is imminent. So I do like the way this group dynamic kind of works. I do like the performances. Overall, I just think the characters in this movie are interesting and they're fun to watch on screen. And I do think this movie was shot beautifully. It was directed very nicely. For a 2-hour-long movie, it does feel like a very quick-paced type of movie. Things start to get going pretty fast, and I just really like the shot choices, the directing style, the score, the music. Visually, this movie is very, very pleasing. This is, you know, 20 years later after Resurrection, or so. It's a little bit less than 20 years, but just about 20 years after Alien Resurrection. So we've come a long way when it comes to special effects and camera work and shot choices and things like that. So you can definitely see a different, distinct style between the older movies and these newer movies in the Alien franchise. But I still, like I said, I do think this movie just looks stunning, very beautiful. It looks like they shot most of it on location. At least there's a lot of like flying overshot drone shots that look like it's on location, that look really, really good. So again, this movie, it looks very pleasing on screen, very dazzling. It's very impressive the way the shots look and the way the special effects look. It's just a very clean film overall. And I also do like the designs of a lot of the creatures here. Of course, we have like our main Titans, I forget what they call them, but our main Titans and stuff that look very human. And I do like the design of them, that they're human enough, but it's just slightly different where it's a little off. They're really tall, and like I said, that's why I think they call them the Titans. And then we have all these other creatures around that, you know, like you have like this kind of worm thing going through the black ooze, or this kind of like octopus looking stuff that we see towards the end of the movie. I think all creature designs look pretty good, and the special effects look decent. You know, you can definitely tell that it's a little digital, CGI in a way, but for the most part, it looks really good. And I do think that this kind of brings a little bit of body horror as well when it comes to one of our main characters kind of getting sick and infected with this kind of parasite, where you start seeing like the gruesomeness in his face and his face starting to morph and stuff. It has a really nice element of a little bit of that body horror as well. So you do get a little bit of that gory body horror effects that add to the little horror element that this movie kind of gives you. There's a lot more science fiction for sure, but there's a slight little horror element towards the end of it that kind of lingers throughout the entire film that I absolutely appreciate. But now heading into my cons, and this is again where you're going to be very divisive, where you either love this movie or hate this movie. And I think this movie does a great job if it wasn't part of the Alien franchise. But since it is, I think that it definitely holds it back. There's very, very slight things that will let you know that this is part of the Alien franchise. If you've never seen any of the Alien movies, you would most likely never know this is an Alien movie or Alien origin. The only way you would know is if you recognize the xenomorph that is part of this little kind of mural in one of the sections in the movie. Other than that, and towards the end, I guess the last final scene, other than that, you would never know this is an Alien movie. I think this movie would have done so much better if it wasn't part of this universe and was just a science fiction movie explaining kind of the creation of the humans. I think that would have made this movie a lot better and a lot more digestible for a lot of people. But since it's giving us answers, and answers that may not work for a lot of people in the Alien franchise, it does kind of bring it down a notch, and it starts to explore things that we've never asked before. And it gives us answers to things, again, that we never asked, and it doesn't give us answers to things that maybe some people might have asked. We don't learn too much about the xenomorphs. We don't learn too much about where these titans kind of come from. So there's not really a lot of clear answers. It just gives us the generic, humans were born from this species, and that's about it. And I wish we explored a little bit more how the xenomorphs came to be. Obviously, you get that little, that huge alien face hugger towards the end that kind of shows you the birth of the xenomorph, but besides that, we don't get much else of it. So yeah, I think that's just a big lingering negative to this movie, is that it just feels like it doesn't belong. It feels like it doesn't belong in this franchise. This movie probably would have done so much better if it was just its own thing, had nothing to do with the aliens. And they could have done the exact same movie shot for shot, but just changed the way the ships look. And that's about it. I think that is kind of just changing the way the ships look, so you don't be like, hey, that's the ship from Aliens. It would be perfect. It would be a perfect movie without that. Another thing that's kind of a very slight negative that's kind of funny and bugs me while I watch the movie is that this is supposed to be before Alien and Aliens. So this is a prequel, an origin story prequel, yet we have technology and just all these different technologies and weapons and machinery and all this different stuff that look more advanced than they do in Alien and Aliens. That always kind of bugs me, that it's a prequel that just looks like we're going into the future past the previous movies. So it's a very slight negative, but it's something that always kind of lingers in the back of my head. Like, that's why, again, this doesn't feel like it fits in the franchise. You're telling an origin story, but yet you have better technology, better weaponry, better machinery, and vehicles and screens and digital stuff, all this different thing that's way better and more advanced than in the previous movies. Again, it's like that lingering thing that makes it feel like it doesn't fit in this franchise. But overall, let me know what you guys think about Prometheus. I can enjoy this movie if I turn off my brain and pretend like it is not in the Alien franchise. Even when I do recognize that it is, it still gives me enough entertainment. I do think the movie is shot very well and it tells a very compelling and interesting story. But again, it does give us answers to questions we've never asked, and it kind of just throws a lot of things out of the water for the previous Alien movies. But let me know what you guys thought in the comment section down below. And again, if you guys like Tom and Think movies, TV shows, or video game related, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you.